Hi there, my name's Andre Rank and this is Unbox and Install. Today I'm going to unbox a couple of speakers for the front door panels in this Tesla Model S, and I'm going to install them. I've never done it before, so I'm really excited. Let's go! Alright, so we're at the unboxing stage of the speakers. So I picked up these Infinity Harman Kappa 62iXs from Amazon. About 200 bucks Canadian. I read on all the forums and the chats that these were the speakers that were actually compatible with Tesla Model S's. One thing I noticed when I actually picked it up was how heavy this box is, so that's a good sign. I'll tell you in a bit the reason why. It's also 2 ohms, so that's something to think about when you're purchasing speakers for your Tesla. And the wattage is pretty good, 225 watts, and also the frequency range I thought was pretty good too, from 40 hertz to about 20 kilohertz. So let's unbox this and see what's going on. Alright, so it's time to unbox this. Let's open it up. Here we go. Okay, so we got the small manual in here. Also, we got some brackets. Probably won't need those. And then here are the speakers. Ta-da! Looks like they've put them in plastic. Just got to open them up very carefully. And one thing I also liked about these speakers was the directional tweak. So we can position those in a way where they're actually pointing up towards the listener. Nice looking speaker, very nice. And we have a second speaker here, identical. I don't think there's anything else in the box. Nope. Packaged really well. Looks really nice. There's also an adjustment here, plus 3 dB for the tweeters, but I suspect that we won't need that. Just a little button there. And let's look at the back here. We have some screw holes here and some screws to plug in the speaker cables that are existing. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's go install. The Infinity Kappa 62iXs are a 6.5 inch 2 ohm 225 watt two-way speaker with a frequency response from 45 Hz to 25 kilohertz. So the tools we only need to do the installation are the plastic wedges. I picked up these on Amazon for about $9, pretty inexpensive. We also have the 10mm ratchet that we need to open up the side panel there. And also a 230 torque screw. All right, so we're gonna start with the door panel. Here we go. So from all videos I've seen, there's basically 2 spots where you actually have to use the ratchet and a torque screw. So these 2 locations here, the door handle and this handle there. So I'm gonna take this plastic wedge, and if you get in there, first time, so a bit of a experiment here, just trying to pop this up. Apparently it's just a kind of a rubber cover you can take off. There we go, it's a rubber cover there. So I'm going to put that down, save that, and you can see the 10mm bolt there. Okay, the next one I'm going to do is over here. This is harder plastic, comes off pretty easy. This is where the torque screw is supposed to be. So you can see the 2 torque screws there. Alright, so the next step is to, I'm going to start with the top one here. I'm not sure if this will work yet. Looks pretty good. Alright, it's very, very tight. So probably need more of a ratchet set for that. Let's try this one first. Let's try the torques. See how hard they are. Yeah, that comes off pretty easy. go. Actually, let's grab the first screw so we don't lose it. And go for the second screw. There we go. Not too bad. Let me just grab the other ratchet set and we'll be back in a sec. Alright, so I got my ratchet set here. It was a bit harder to get this bolt out, so let's try. Yeah, that's a bit easier. So I can do it that part and then grab my screwdriver, my 10mm, try to take the whole thing out there. I think we're good to go. It's pretty loose now. A bit hard to get out. Might have to grab 2 fingers, and there we go. Got it out. See that? All right, on to the next step. All right, so we got the screws out now, so I'm actually gonna try to pop open the panel. I've told us to start from the bottom first. That's the easiest way to do it, and then we'll work ourselves up. I'm not sure if this is the right plastic wedge, but we'll try it out. Let's check it out. Come on down here. All right, so one thing that they did talk about was how some of the clips actually break off, and that's something I don't want to have happen. And I think one just broke off. So you should always do this on a day that the auto parts store is open, so you can buy some new clips. Not easy to get off, that's for sure. But, oh well, we'll just see how it goes. So I do see the clips in there. Just trying to wedge it gently open with my tools. Slowly opening it. There we go. Looking good. Whoop. Yeah, I can see the broken one here. I'm gonna have to get a new one, but it is what it is. As you open it, from what I've been told, there's a lot of electronics up here, so you got to be careful. There we go. As you go along, it gets easier and easier. Voila. Have a look down here. You're going to see the speaker, all the electronics. This is what they're talking about some of the handles there. And that's the baby we're trying to get at. So I don't think we have to open up too much more. I just have to make sure that these clips are good, and we can pop it back in. So this is very custom here, this shape of the speaker, and you can actually buy these actually how they look, but like I said before, they're about $1,000 US plus brokerage plus exchange. You're going to be looking at $2,000 just to replace this. So let's go to the next step. Let's take this baby out. Alright, so we're going to take out the speaker. So the first thing we have to do is take out the Ashley wiring there, and if you take some needle nose, I think you can even use your hand, just wedge it out and it comes out fairly easily. And then it looks like we have a T25 torque there screw. We have a couple of them all the way around, so I'm gonna unscrew them. Probably start with the bottom one first and then see if they come out easily. Alright, so we got the last screw here. Just kind of holding it with one other hand so it doesn't fall out. I'm not sure what to expect here. see if it pops out. There we go. And voila. So this is the stock speaker. Now I told you about weight in the beginning, how impressed I was, and the reason why. Just look how small this magnet is. You can't pump any power out of that, so the other magnet is much bigger. So I expect a huge improvement. One thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get this out. I believe this is just glued into place, and then replace it with the other one, and then stick it back in, and then have a listen. So there we go. All right, next step is get the other speaker in here. So now we're going to replace the old stock speaker with the new speaker there. Once again, this is what the back side looks like and the front side. So here we go. So I'm gonna, first of all, this speaker is molded into the case, so I'm gonna actually cut it out because we're not gonna salvage this at all. I'm gonna file this down with the Dremel tool afterwards. I just want to get this stock speaker out. Get it out pretty quickly. I measured the positive and negative off these leads here, so I'm good for that. I'm just going to cut them off. When you turn it around, grab the X-Acto knife, and then just cut it out, and away you go. I've seen these speakers being sold on eBay. I think they're asking 40 bucks, 60 bucks for these, but you can't really salvage it if you're using the same case. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this to the garage and clean it out with the Dremel tool. Come back and then install the speaker in there. You'll see how it fits like a glove. All right, here we go. So I went to the garage, cleaned it out with the Dremel tool, and now I'm ready to solder the leads on, because you have to solder it on here and screw the leads on the actual new speaker. So I'm going to do that now. I tested it out, and the positive is on the right side, so I am going to solder the right side on first. Next step is to mount the speaker. It actually fits in perfectly in here. Actually pretty impressed how it works out. There we go. Goes a specific way so the tweeter actually points up. Here you can see the lead and everything. I'm going to worry about that later. That's all soldered in and screwed in. Next I'm going to drill some holes, and then we're going to put these screws in, and then we can actually reinstall it back in the car. So here we go. Just make sure it's perfectly flat. Need the long screws. Put 4 of them in. Alright, screw them back in just very firm. And there's the back. We're just going to wrap that cable around. We're good to go. Here's the front. Good, easy install. All right, next we're going to put in the door. Let's go. All right, so we got the speaker in the case. This is what it looks like. See, nice big magnet, nice tweet, and we're going to screw it into place. So here we go. Start with the top one first. So
Be very careful and slow. Go to the first screw, that's actually the easiest. There we go. And one thing I did was I actually tested the positive and negative to make sure I had it right in the speaker. I'm just going to connect this back in. Pretty easy to connect in. And start screwing all the other screws in here. Just being very careful.
Alright, so we got the speaker installed there, so I'm going to put the door panel back and just clip it in. Very carefully. So we'll start with the top first. I've got to line up all the holes. There we go. Starting to snap in. Let's check out the other holes here. Yeah. All right, everybody. We're going to test out the new speakers with the RTA once again and make a comparison between the old speakers, the stock speakers, and the new speakers. So here we go. We're just going to go to the settings, flatten everything out, just like we did before, all the way to 0. There we go. And then I'm going to start playing it and check out the readings here. So we're going to start on 5. There's 5. I can already see a difference. It's pretty flat. Now I'm going to go to 10. Alright, so we can see it's pretty flat, which means we have a lot of lows. This is 30 hertz. I mentioned that the other speakers are rated at 40, and we're up to 14K here. The other speakers went to 20, so it's very flat, which is a good sign. We'll compare it to the other one and talk about it a bit more. Alright. I took a reading of the speaker frequency response with a real-time spectrum analyzer using white noise before and after the speaker installation so that I could see if there is a real difference between the old and new speakers. I first flattened the EQ in the audio settings menu. The first thing I noticed was that there was a huge discrepancy in speaker efficiency. The old speaker at max volume put out an average of 75 dB SPL and the second one put out 105 dB SPL. That would be like a vacuum cleaner compared to a nightclub. The frequency reading with the old speakers showed me that there were quite a few peaks and valleys rolling off at 50 Hz and 3.7 kHz. So it did reach the sub-bass but only hit the mid-high frequency range, limiting overall sound quality. It also peaked at 200 Hz and 1 kHz, providing an inconsistent sound. I was pleasantly surprised how flat the new speakers were, ranging from 40 Hz to 20 kHz as advertised. This speaker provided a more consistent listening experience. The new speakers and they sound pretty awesome. I noticed that the lows are really low and the highs are so much better than the stock stereo sound that I was getting before, so I'm really happy. Only cost me $200 and it's awesome. Alright, catch you guys later.